Hey, Patrick, fresh off the draft where I think for the most part people are happy with what the Canucks did.
Yeah,
aside from maybe if we look forward to the next two drafts and that draft pick for Miller, obviously in that trade. But where does that leave the Canucks going in free agency?
I mean, yeah, the draft was this is the interesting thing. It was a rebuilding draft. It was exactly what we want. They had 9 picks, lots of, obviously almost all forwards, but lots of interesting choices there. The top 3 picks, I think, especially being the most sort of praised. But yeah, going into free agency, I mean, this is still a team that has dreams of making the playoffs. I think, there's a real push from ownership. Their books can't be great. I mean, they haven't been selling a lot of seats, and they haven't been in the playoffs, and that's where you make the money. And that was, let's remember those words. We can turn around quickly. And since that first season in the playoffs, they haven't been in the playoffs. And so the clear push is there. I'm not sure even in free agency they can make their team that much better. JT Miller does make the team better. But if they say they signed Tyler Myers on Monday, as I think most of us expect, it'll be a different look on D, but he doesn't make them all that much better. He's going to make a lot of money, and it's a tough position for the player. I mean, the player's going to sign the contract he's given, but it's a tough position for the player, and it's really not going to make the team all that much better versus what they already have right now.
So it's somewhat incongruous. You want to see progress,
right,
as a team and as a group, but making the playoffs now versus building a championship contender. You mentioned, like in the draft, it was, aside from a goalie, it was all forwards.
Yes.
They make a big trade for a forward.
Right.
And everyone's been screaming about the defense.
Right.
So you're going to have to fix that defense quickly if you want to make the playoffs. But does that usurp any chance of really building a proper championship team?
Well, I mean, youth is the future, and Quinn Hughes clearly is going to be an important part of that. I think he's an incredible talent, and I think will make a contribution next year. And that alone, I think, makes their defense better. He's a player of a style that they've never had really before. It was interesting asking Jim Benning about Olli Juolevi's status, and he was working out this week at development camp. Wasn't on the ice with the rest of the prospects, but was working on his own. Was on ice, him and Jet Wu, and Juolevi is a player that I asked Jim about, and I said, are you going to do essentially a repeat of last year's plan, which was half the year in Utica, second half in the NHL? And Jim said, no, actually, if he shows he's ready to go in training camp, he will be on the roster. So that's another element there. I mean, they're saying this kid, is going to make a difference. That's who we're looking for. So they're trying to keep a space for that, for him. So at that point, so you have Hughes for a whole season. I guess that's a new face. Maybe Juolevi. You're probably going to need to find some kind of depth defenseman because Luke Shen looks like he's going to go to market, even though he showed well enough here. I think there was some interest in him, but they have to see how the rest of it shakes out first, I guess. I mean, he's, I suppose, down the road. I don't know if he's going to have people lining up for him on Monday, but yeah, if Myers is the only change there, I mean, you still have Edler, you still have Stetcher. They're dreaming of Tanev. Like I said, it's not a whole lot of change up on the back end. I mean, Hughes is a big change, but there's still a lot of the same, more of the same, I'd say.
Yeah, and you can argue whether or not Myers is a big name. Right. Probably the biggest name on the defensive free agent list anyway. Now that Karlsson re-signed in San Jose. If you look at the Canucks' history, Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, a little bit mixed of going after a name and making a big commitment and adding depth guys. Beyond Myers, or if a curveball, someone like Gardner, do you expect the Canucks to be active?
It's
3
tough
signings?
to say. I mean, we asked Benning about this on Thursday, and he essentially said, we were looking at sort of shoring up the lineup before. Insulating is the word they love to use. So that was why they signed Jay Beagle to a 4-year contract last summer. Antoine Roussel, a player who did well, was a good signing, I would say, but still going to be out halfway through the year. Another example of that. Tim Schaller, of course, and you look at where they're trying to be next year. They claim they're going to the playoffs. They say they're not going to go too far down the road of just getting bodies, but Jim Benning seems to like signing free agents, so we'll see what happens on Monday.
Well, we'll have all a reaction to the signings when they come in. We've also got podcasts, our White Towel podcast. Follow us at theprovince.com, vancouversun.com for all your Canucks news.